Sara and I met in college when we were kids. She was an extremely authentic, warm, kind person with a very laid-back disposition, just a delightful nature. She was also extremely bright and very funny, tremendous mom and wife. She was a very healthy person, a very fit person, but shockingly we discovered Sara had gastric cancer.
Sara and Jeff are not unlike many other patients I've cared for. We took that news, processed it, shed some tears, and then decided, okay, so what do we have to do about it?
Jeff was passionate and motivated about learning about cancer and about stomach cancer in particular, and really trying to push the envelope about new experimental therapies.
This is a hard way to get a PhD by having a loved one with cancer and being determined to learn all you can about it. But I think Jeff had an even keel in exploring different options and evaluating those options, and always having sort of the positive bent that research is valuable, learning is valuable, and if it helps my wife, that's what I want more than anything. But if it doesn't help somebody else, it's all good.
It seemed to us through research we were doing that the most hopeful things that existed in the world of cancer treatment couldn't be accessed by gastric cancer patients. And that's really what got us thinking about trying to launch a trial to try to liberate some of these incredibly hopeful medicines that were out there being used in other diseases. I brought that idea to Dr. Fisher, this particular combination of immunotherapy drugs, an IDO1 inhibitor with a PD-1 inhibitor that had shown good results in a small trial prior that didn't include gastric patients.
Oftentimes breast, colon, prostate, lung are the first ones to be tested with a new drug. But there's a big gap, and the big gap is looking at the small 10, 15, 20 patient trials that can give a proof of principle.
As government funding and industry funding becomes tighter, it becomes critical for us to find other ways to fund clinical research. So I really value Jeff for initially bringing this idea and bringing the players together. And then it was up to the team at Stanford to help bring that to completion.
Jeff was, of course, devoted to turning over each and every stone he could find that might have some possible treatment that would provide benefit, and which we had hoped we would be able to keep Sara well. But there comes a time where thinking about future trials is not a realistic expectation.
My wife was a very wise person, and she felt at one point that it was time to stop. She was a lot more rational about all this than I was, and she knew, and she was right.
I'd like to think in all the work that we do now on gastric cancer that we honor Sara's memory with that work. Now, not all of our work will be successful, but it'll make an incremental gain and maybe someday a big gain in a tough disease.
This combination of immunotherapy agents holds a lot of promise for this particular patient population. And though it's a small study, what I think Stanford really hopes to contribute is a lot of the basic biology or basic science information that we'll learn from this.
Extremely hopeful, as was Sara, that this could really be a game changer for someone. And knowing that this trial is largely opening because of her, it means the world to me. It gave her a tremendous amount of peace to think that something we worked on together might help someone else.